The end of the world is a story every civilization tells. But what if even the mighty Greek gods, like the immortal Olympians who shaped the earth, controlled the heavens, and ruled fate itself, were not exempt from their own apocalypse? What if hidden deep within the oldest fragments of Greek mythology lies a prophecy, foretelling not just the fall of Zeus, but the annihilation of Olympus, the extinction of the divine race, and the rise of something far more terrifying in their place? This is the story the ancient priests never taught, the philosophers hinted at, and the poets buried under layers of metaphor. A story so dangerous that even the gods in their myths feared it, because the Greeks, like the Norse, believed the cosmos had a beginning, and therefore it must have an end. And in this episode, we uncover a forgotten vision of that end, a prophecy whispered by Gaia, feared by Zeus, and sealed away so thoroughly that only scattered shards survive. But those shards reveal something chilling. Even gods cannot escape destiny. And Olympus, for all its power, was never meant to last. Welcome to this exciting new episode of the channel, The Eternal Odyssey, where we explore the stories of myths and fantasies. Chapter 1, The Prophecy. The oldest Greek apocalypse begins not with fire, not with war, but with the voice of Gaia, the earth herself, speaking a prophecy to Zeus. According to ancient fragments, she warns that the Olympian king will fall not by the hands of a mortal, nor by a titan, but by a child greater than any born before. The fear is immediate and visceral, because Zeus himself once used such a prophecy to justify overthrowing his own father, Cronus. And now the cycle returns, with the destiny pushing forward in a pattern that even gods cannot break. Scholars once dismissed these whispers as poetic embellishments, but recent reconstructions show they may belong to a broader lost tradition, the belief that the gods were doomed by an inevitable cosmic cycle. In the earliest myths, Zeus scours the earth for clues, interrogates oracles, and even approaches the imprisoned prophetic titan Prometheus to extract the truth. Who is the child destined to end his reign? But Prometheus refuses to answer, knowing the apocalypse cannot be stopped. And so begins Zeus's descent into paranoia, echoing Cronus before him, sensing the shadow of his destruction, growing ever closer. Chapter 2, The Child of Doom. The prophecy becomes clearer when we examine the myths surrounding Thetis, a sea goddess whose beauty and power captivated the Olympians. Zeus desired her, Poseidon desired her, but suddenly, both withdrew when they learned from Gaia's prophecy that Thetis would bear a son greater than his. Father, to Zeus, this was not desire, but it was dread, for the child of Thetis could surpass the gods themselves. And so, the king of Olympus arranged for Thetis to marry a mortal man, Peleus, ensuring her child would be only half divine. That child was Achilles. The world remembers him as a hero of Troy, but the deeper myth hints at something far more cosmic. Achilles was meant to be a god killer, swift beyond any mortal, immune to aging, touched by fire, and raised in the wilderness by the centaur Chiron. Achilles embodied the qualities of a child who could challenge Olympus if he survived Troy. His wrath, his grief, his unstoppable rage were a mythic foreshadowing of the being he could have become. And so, Achilles becomes the first key to the apocalypse, a child redirected, a weapon diffused. But the prophecy does not end with him. For Thetis' child was only one possible destroyer. The true doom of Olympus was still rising. Chapter 3, The Buried War. Long before the Olympians ruled, the Titans waged a war that tore the cosmos apart. When Zeus defeated them, he imprisoned them in Tartarus, the deepest pit of the universe. But the myths hint at something sinister, that the Titans were never meant to be sealed away forever. Destiny, which governs even the gods, decreed that everything imprisoned must one day break free. And so ancient poets hinted at a second Titanomachi. This is supposed to be a return of the Titans, stronger, angrier, and more numerous, rising from the depths to reclaim the cosmos. Hesiod, the earliest Greek storyteller, describes Tartarus shaking in chains, something beneath it stirring, and the earth trembling as if preparing for a second cosmic conflict. The Olympians sensed this too. Zeus expanded his armies, trained demigods, and unleashed terrifying monsters not to terrorize mankind, but to defend Olympus from something greater. Even the myth of Typhon, the monstrous storm breather defeated by Zeus, appears to be only the first of many such beings destined to challenge the gods. In some versions, Typhon escapes during a future age of chaos and returns to battle the Olympians again. This time victorious. Ancient priests refused to repeat these verses, but they existed. Prophecies of gods fleeing Olympus, lightning fading, and the sky falling as the Titans break free to reclaim the universe. Chapter 4, The Age of Man. Another path to the apocalypse rises from a belief that the Greeks rarely admitted openly that mankind itself could bring about the downfall of the gods. After all, Prometheus once prophesied that humans would surpass the gods if given knowledge, and Zeus punished him with eternal torment for that very reason. But the prophecy lingered, and as humans advanced by building cities, mastering fire, writing poetry, philosophy, and mathematics, the Greek thinkers speculated that the gods would eventually fade. As human reason eclipsed divine fear, the age of heroes, where demigods mingled with mortals, was seen not as a golden age, but as a training ground. Humanity was rising, and the gods, for all their immortality, depended on human worship. In the Orphic traditions, a chilling idea emerges. When mortals stop believing in the gods die. Even Plato hints at a future where gods retreat or fall silent as human knowledge grows. And in later Greek mystery cults, the apocalypse becomes a drama of transition, with the Olympus falling not to war, but to irrelevance. The flame of mankind grows brighter as the flame of the gods flickers. Thus, in one version of the prophecy, the end comes through humanity's triumph. The gods are not slain, but they simply disappear, powerless, forgotten, erased by their own creation's awakening. Chapter 5, The Return of Night. But the darkest version of the Greek apocalypse has nothing to do with titans or heroes or mankind. It begins with Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, a being so powerful that Zeus himself feared to confront her. Nyx is older than the Olympians, older than the Titans, older than the cosmos as mortals understand it. If Zeus is the king of the sky, she is the queen of the void. In obscure fragments, Nyx delivers a prophecy to Zeus that chills even the thunder god. The era of light will end, and night will reclaim creation. Her children are death, doom, madness, and strife, who will rise unchecked. The Fates, who answer not to Zeus, but to Nyx, will cut the thread of Olympus. Even the sun, Apollo's sacred chariot, will dim as shadows spread across the world. This is the apocalypse of entropy, the return of cosmic darkness. Not a battle, not a rebellion, but a natural collapse as order loses to chaos. And in this prophecy, Zeus has no power to intervene, because the Olympians rule only the Middle Ages of creation, and not its beginning, not its end. Nyx reminds Zeus that all things born must die, even gods. And the silence that follows her prophecy is perhaps the most terrifying image in all of Greek myth. Chapter 6, The Fall of Olympus. So how did the gods die? Greek myth never gives a single unified ending, but when we weave the surviving fragments together, a haunting final picture emerges. The prophecy begins with Gaia warning of Zeus's downfall. It spreads through the ages as Thetis' child nearly becomes a god killer. It grows as Titans stir beneath Tartarus, as humanity rises, as Nyx prepares the return of cosmic darkness, and finally, a catastrophe comes that even Zeus cannot weather. The earth shakes, the sky cracks, mountains bleed fire, oceans swallow cities. The heavens turn red as the titans break free. Thunder roars, but the lightning no longer obeys the king of the gods. Apollo's chariot falls from the sky. Hera's throne splits in two. Athena's armor turns to dust. Poseidon rises to defend the world, but is consumed by storms. And Zeus, realizing the prophecy he once used to overthrow Cronus, has finally turned on him, unleashes the full terror of his power. But destiny is stronger than thunder. In one version, Zeus falls in battle against a reborn Typhon. In another, he is devoured by a cosmic serpent born from the blood of Gaia. In yet another, he simply fades as night swallows Olympus. No matter the version, Olympus falls. The gods are gone, and the world rolls silently into a new age. One without divine rulers, one where the sky is empty, and the thunder never speaks again. If you enjoyed this journey into the forgotten apocalypse of Greek mythology, the prophecies the priests hid, and the endings the ancients feared, then make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because many more secrets of ancient worlds are waiting, and the next myth we uncover may change everything you thought you knew. Thank you